Guys, Dr. Jeremy here with the Brute Tip. We got an email today about a question of what is the single best thing to include in a class, in one group class. And in my opinion, the best thing to include in a class is to have a goal for that class, right? Don't just write up a program and just say, okay, this will be fun and something to pass the time and people will get sweaty and out of breath. The single most important thing that you can have for one class is a goal, right? And don't be scared to communicate that goal with the class, especially if you're working on skill or even if you're working on conditioning. Be very explicit with what you're trying to accomplish in that class, and you're going to be a lot more effective, A, with your programming because you have to answer that question before you put it out, and B, when you explain that to the class, you're going to put them in a certain mindset as to what they need to do and how they need to attack that specific class. To dovetail with that, and the follow-up question would be, what is the best thing to include over the course of a week? For me, the best thing to include would be an actual audit of what you've done in the week before, right? So we've come up with a very simple auditing sheet that just kind of outlines the different patterns, right? Hinge, squat, unilateral squat, right? Unilateral hinge, push, pull, unilateral carries, right? Unilateral carry, all of the different movement patterns, unilateral and bilateral. And we've also broken it down into strength and technique versus conditioning, right? So at the end of the week, you can look back and say, okay, we hit hinging at this volume, right? We used about this much percentage, if that was your goal, right? Or we've accumulated this much volume in that specific movement pattern in the strength, right? Where we know it's gonna be a little bit heavier, we're gonna have some rest in between, right? Versus conditioning, you know, maybe you did wall balls on Monday, thrusters on Tuesday, pistols on Wednesday, you know, front squats on Thursday, right? And you look back and you say, wow, we did a whole lot of squat conditioning this week. And so this way you have a little bit of a self-reflection as to what movements you're emphasizing or possibly overemphasizing, as well as which movement categories that you're not utilizing enough. All right? So really, those are the two big questions that we got this week, and those are my answers as to how to address those.